Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our Israel Wake Up. This is our Women's Advanced Bible Study night, Thursday night, the 6th of March, 2025. Okay. I'll be reading out of Judges chapters 2 through 5, kind of bouncing off of last night's conversation. Okay. You can go to our YouTube channel to Israel Wake Up. This is our sister channel to Prophets of Awakening. You can check it out, and we have over 100 or so videos so far that you can look at and examine the scriptures and get the meat out. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving on the channel, I'm asking you to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance. And the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that were given to Moses by our Redeemer and our Savior, the Lord of hosts. Shalom and welcome to this channel. Welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, prayer, we'll read the Psalms. We have some women's help. Then we deal with some current events, need to know information, and I'll open it up for some questions, comments, and dialogue. Then we'll go into our topic. Like I mentioned earlier, I'll kind of do a recap on last night's conversation about David's mother. Then we're going to read out of Judges chapters 4 through 5. Okay, and then we'll pick a scripture at the end and break it down. And then we'll close out. This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts, and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days, turn us back to our homeland. Oh Lord, I pray unto the Lord my God, we make our confessions, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us a confusion of face as it is this day, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, to all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries where thou hast driven us, because of our trespass, that we have trespassed against thee. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all his evils come upon us in the land of our captivity, here in the Americas, Caribbean, Great Britain, Africa, and abroad. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy people and thy mountain. This prayer cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people for your sake. O Lord, open thine eyes and incline your ears to hear and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive, hearken, and do, and defer not so very much at this hour. Peace be on you. Okay, we're going to read a song. Somebody going to read a song?
Yes, Mika's on mute. She's going to read it.
You got to mute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So I'm reading from Psalm 75. It's entitled The Righteous Judge. It's 1 through 10. Unto thee, O God, do we give thanks unto thee? Do we give thanks? For thy name is near, thy wondrous works declare. When I shall receive the congregation, I will judge uprightly. The earth and all its inhabitants thereof are dissolved. I bear up the pillars of it. I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up the horn. Lift not up your horn on high. Speak not with a stiff neck, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He putteth down one, he setteth up another. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. But I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted.
Okay. Yeah, Psalm 75. Notice it's a warning to the wicked. And I keep on saying this over and over again. Our tribulation started when we was cast out of the land of Israel back in 143 BC when we was kicked out. And our tribulation started. We at the end of our tribulation. And when you understand that the people that the Lord is coming to judge is the wicked, not us. He coming to redeem us. So when you read that, verse 7 says, uh, but God is the judge. The Lord of hosts is the judge. He put it down one, sitteth another, for in the hand of the Lord of hosts, right, there's a cup. This cup they talk about in Revelation, right? And the wine is red, and it's full of mixture, and he pours it out the same. But check it out. But the dread thereof, all the wicked, not Israelites, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. But I will declare forever, and I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. That's the Lord of hosts. 10. All the horns of the wicked, there you go again, not Israelites, not the righteous. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. That's the Israelites. And so you got all these Israelites in these camps preparing for this. We finna go through something. We ain't finna go through nothing. We already been through it. We at the end of the tribulation. When the Lord of hosts come back and break the sky, he's coming to judge the wicked. He's coming to judge the earth and redeem his people. So we ain't got nothing to worry about. If you broke and busted it, don't worry about it. Okay? Any comments?
No
Okay,
comment.
everybody good? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, we can go to our women's health moment.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Please note that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion is on 3D bioprinting meat from labs to plates. I have had this health discussion before, but yesterday I was listening to a video. And in that video, the person stated that 3D printed meats offer several health benefits over traditional livestock meats, including reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. These meat alternatives can be tailored to meet specific dietary needs, offering higher nutritional value without unhealthy fats. So once I finish reading this, you will decide if lab grown meat or regular beef is for you. And I also read that they are now shipping this this lab meat directly to your home. At first, it was only being sold in restaurants. Now it's available for shipment. So, what is 3D printed meat? It is meat made out of lab grown stem cells. 3D printed meat is an edible rendering of a meat like product created from an additive manufacturing process, layer by layer. 3D printed meat is constructed from a bio ink that extrudes from a 3D printed nozzle. Three-dimensional printed meat is a programmable meat replica made from the additive process process of 3D printing that replicates its conventional formed counterpart at the cell levels. How is 3D printed meat made? To begin, the 3D printed meat process scientists biopsy a patch sample of animal stem cells depending on the desired type of meat, beef, pork, poultry, or even fish. These cells then undergo an in vitro life process, bathing in a nourishing, nutrient-dense serum within a climate-controlled bioreactor. And I don't know if you guys have seen the video on how they process meat, but it really looks gross. The printed product returns to a second incubation phase, which allows stem cells to change and mature as they would inside of an animal. This is where muscle fibers fully form with the right density, thickness, and length. Now that it has taken shape, after a few more weeks, the lab to table meat is ready to be cooked and served. Companies worldwide are racing to produce cell-cultured meat, stating that creating meat without raising and slaughtering livestock is better for the environment, animal welfare, and potentially health. The FDA and USDA jointly approved 3D printed meat in August of 2023. So how do you like your beef? Old style cow or 3D printed? I will be reading Isaiah chapter 5, verses 20 through 24, excuse me. Woe to those that call evil good. Verse 20, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and men of strength to mingle strong drink. Verse 23, which justify the wicked for reward, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore, as the fire devoured the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Tonight's discussion was on 3D bioprinting meat, and I read Isaiah chapter 5, verses 20 through 24. Woe to those that call evil good. Shalom.
Okay, yeah. So I was holding a conversation uh, yesterday, I think it was, with somebody about how these people, how we as Israelites, we've been so brainwashed and conditioned to, we constantly trying to, you know, we see how wicked these people are, but we continue to associate ourselves with them, bring them into the fold, and then believe in what they say. And a prime example is, I remember coming up and how the chart they had about them, you know, in the school, in the cafeteria, about what was healthy, a healthy breakfast. And they got cow milk. Cow milk is supposed to be healthy for us. When the Creator created cow milk for cows, and women have breasts, we need their milk. They eliminated the female breast milk, and they telling us the most healthiest thing that you can drink in the morning, or part of a breakfast, is milk. When it's and the milk coming from a cow. That's crazy. So you shouldn't be surprised that now they printing out meat and telling you that it's more healthy than the meat that the Creator made.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And another one is, 90% of our bodies is made up of water. We know in the very beginning water was covered the earth, but they telling us, you know, they came over Gatorade, Powerade. It does a better job to quench the body than water do, and we go for it. Okay. Any comments?
That is so true, Brother Leonard. And I'm doing a paper on that, what you're speaking of, right, about that food chart. But what I was reading now is that they were saying that the food chart that we were taught in school
Right.
is the reason why America is so obese.
Oh yeah,
Um,
exactly. Because it ain't real.
right,
It ain't real stuff. Right.
right, right, exactly. Yes, yes, sir.
Right. And
Shalom.
that's our problem. We keep on. We believe everything they say. Okay.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Yes, the pyramid was made up for really the people who overgrown their wheat. They was trying. That was during the Depression time, and they were trying to make sure that the wheat was going to be used. So we got the bread, we have the cereal, and all those other items as they go down. One um, document documentary said about how they exploited the food so people would eat more of the wheat because that's what was after the depression that was mostly there and he had to get rid of it, so they did it in that way with the pyramid. And then the four food groups, and how they started with the plates and they divided the plates up so you would have to fill those parts so you would eat each one of those areas. So, and getting the children to eat like that, and people are eating like that. And when they came up with the TV dinners, that's when they started again to get the people to be lazy, put the TV dinners in, sit down in front of the TV with your TV tray, and like you said, Sister Michelle, become obese because they're not moving around, they're not getting up to the table, they're not doing anything but heating up this food that they placed in these little trays for us to um, consume, and don't get up from the table on the chair and have the TV in front of you. Yes, we are the leading nation of obesity.
Okay. Anybody else got any comments on that? Okay. We go to our current event. Today, we're going to talk about the 11 African countries that are offering citizenship to African Americans and the diaspora. So let's go. My name is Ambassador Tim Ford Jr. of the African Union AUCS, and I've been living over in East Africa. So notice how it escalated. Now it's 11 countries giving out free citizenship for African Americans to leave here. Tanzania for almost 5 years now, and I help my people invest, rebuild, and return over to the continent of Africa. But today, I want to get right to the point and talk about the 11 countries who are welcoming us back home, just as long as we have ancestral DNA that traces us back to these countries. So let's go. But first, I would like to discuss how these different countries offering citizenship to us as a people is extremely symbolic and is an attempt to strengthen the ties between us and our people over on the continent of Africa. A lot of our people here on the continent of Africa know what we have been going through as a people, and they understand what has went on throughout history and how they've done some wrong. And some of our people have actually been a part of us being in a situation that we were in over in the United States of America. So, in an attempt to amend the wrongs that's been caused throughout history, a lot of the countries are trying to rectify the situation by actually offering citizenship to our people who prove that they are descendants and have ancestral bloodline links back to particular countries. So I'm excited to talk about these different countries because it's a step in the right direction towards the unification of us actually coming together. So they got Negroes out there saying that we from America. So these people right here, right now it's up to 11 countries, and they're saying that you got to show your DNA. So how can you do that if you're from America? Okay. Together as a people. So let's go. So the first country we're going to talk about is Ghana. So Ghana has a right of abode law in place, which gives people who have ancestry links back to their land the ability to move over into Ghana and not have to worry about the visa and permit process that you have to go through as a foreigner when you decide to go to different countries.
And all you have to do in order to gain this citizenship is prove your ancestry to Ghana by DNA test, or you can use a family tree or a birth certificate as an official document in order to prove that you have lineage over in Ghana. And one of the main resources that's over in Ghana is cocoa. If you're someone who's thinking about coming over to the continent of Africa and you have ancestry that links you back to Ghana, think about and research about the cocoa industry and learn about how you can actually go over to the country of Ghana and help the country produce it in a more efficient way, and help it reach a higher level. That's a great way to go into the country and be of an asset instead of going over there and trying to ask for a handout. One Zimbabwe. And just like Ghana, you must prove that you have Zimbabwean descent and you will be eligible for the opportunity to gain dual citizenship over in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, even have incentives in place in order to entice people to come over, like tax breaks, business grants, and even scholarships to help entrepreneurs who are trying to come over and help develop their country. You want to do. But with all the countries that I just recommended, I recommend doing your own independent research. Don't just use this video that you're watching right now as the only means of research that you do. Please do independent research and look into the country, look into the fullness of what everything takes, look into what you need to do in order to be in a good standing when you decide to make the move to go over and try and obtain citizenship in that particular country. Now, we're being called home as a people. A lot of our brothers and sisters over on the continent are welcoming us back home. This is just 11 countries that I mentioned right now. But there's 54 different countries over here on the continent of Africa. And it is my belief and my hope that one day all 54 countries will be welcoming us back and we will be able to gain citizenship and go to whichever country that we have lineage to. We have.
Okay, any comments on that? Okay, go to the next one, right?
Administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it.
So he didn't got BlackRock to buy the Panama Canal from China.
Regain US ownership of the Panama Canal, which he has claimed, without evidence, is run by China. Fink capitalized on that desire to secure the biggest infrastructure deal in BlackRock's history. The deal is also a sign of Fink's and BlackRock's ambitions to clinch major deals in far-flung private markets and compete with the biggest alternative asset managers. In a statement announcing the transaction, Fink boasted of BlackRock's ties to companies and governments around the world and said, "We are increasingly the first call."
Through our deep connectivity to organizations like Hutchison and MSC/Tile and governments around the world, we are increasingly the first call for partners seeking patient, long-term capital. We are thrilled our clients can participate in this investment.
In a statement, Frank Sixt, co-managing director of CK Hutchison, said the deal resulted from a rapid, discreet, but competitive process and was unrelated to politics. Sources told Bloomberg that Blackstone Inc. and KKR and Company also considered bids. Representatives for both firms, however, declined to comment. The White House also didn't respond, said Bloomberg. Meanwhile, President Jose Raul Mulino said Panama will review the transaction and an audit of the Panama Ports contract will continue.
Okay, so like I said, they didn't got BlackRock to buy the Panama Canal. So when you look at all this in a way and you understand how war go about, they just trying to prepare these strategic places in order to have an advantage in certain situations, just because they know war is inevitable. Where everything playing out, the war is coming. Any comments on that? Okay. So here's some need to know information right here. don't know if anybody heard about this, but we'll play a little bit of it.
Hello and welcome to The Breakdown. I'm your host, Sandra Bebu Boateng. So today we're tackling a powerful and complex issue that's gaining momentum worldwide. We're talking about reparations for slavery. Leaders from Africa, the Caribbean, and African American communities are making a strong and renewed push for justice. But is this movement realistic? Is this dream attainable? And what really needs to happen for it to become a reality? Before we get into it, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another critical conversation like the one we're about to have. Okay, guys, so let's set the stage, right? In 2025, the African Union declared justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations as their theme for the year. Now, this decision made during the 37th Ordinary Assembly in Addis Ababa last year underscores a continent-wide commitment to addressing historical injustices. Here is John Mahama, President of Ghana, speaking at the 38th AU Summit, which took place on February 15th, 2025, on their theme for this year.
It's a privilege to address this historic launch of the African Union theme of the year 2025, and I quote, "Justice for Africans and the people of African descent through reparations," unquote. This moment marks a significant milestone in our collective pursuit of justice, equity, and the long overdue recognition of the historical injustices that continue to shape the lives of Africans and the people of African descent worldwide. At the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the African Union in February 2024, our heads of state and government made a landmark decision to dedicate the year 2025 to the cause of reparatory justice. This decision underscores our collective commitment to addressing the historical injustices and their lingering consequences that have impacted generations of Africans and people of African descent.
Meanwhile, over in the Caribbean, leaders are amplifying their voices as well. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell of Grenada recently urged European nations to issue formal apologies and provide reparations for their roles in the transatlantic slave trade. Addressing European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, he emphasized that acknowledging slavery as a crime against humanity is a crucial step toward healing. Take a listen.
Your Excellency Ursula von der Leyen, I don't mean to be impolite, but I will say to you, therefore, that the issue of reparations for the transatlantic slavery and the enslavement of African peoples and black bodies, as my comrade Ralph likes to say, is an issue that we will take up with you. And we are doing so in the hands of partnership, and we are doing so in the cause of humanity. Because as long as we do not openly and explicitly reject the idea that one human being can own another human being, we run the risk that that idea may somehow take root again and be allowed to flourish and happen again in the world. And so as descendants of people who fought for their freedom from chattel slavery, we owe it to ourselves and to future generations of humanity to ensure that the transatlantic slave trade and the enslavement of Africans in the Caribbean, Latin, Central, South, and North America is accepted as a crime against humanity, and that the appropriate apology and compensation is paid, and that the international community accepts that this should never happen again.
Your membership is more. United States, the fight continues. Following the passing of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who was a staunch advocate for reparations, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley has taken up the mantle, and she is leading the charge to push forward legislation that seeks to study and develop reparatory proposals for African Americans. Take a listen.
We're at a critical inflection point in America, and the moment cannot be more urgent. With Black history under attack and white supremacy emboldened, there is no better time to introduce this bill than during Black History Month, a time when we reflect on our history, our struggle, and our collective power. And I'll say, it is also not only about Black history, but it is about Black futures. More than 4 centuries ago, Africans were kidnapped, trafficked, and enslaved, forced to build this country under horrific brutality, an economy which we still benefit from today. Rice, sugar, tobacco, cotton. And even after the Civil War, emancipation, the 13th Amendment, the legacy of slavery endured in other forms, codified in law to deny Black Americans freedom, opportunity, and dignity.
Summit. While the EU President, Ursula von der Leyen, acknowledged that slavery was a crime against humanity, she didn't mention any notable action that would attempt to address the wrong.
And most respected voices in the fight against climate change and to protect nature. We made history together with the Paris Agreement and the Loss and Damage Fund. We have championed together a bold reform of the global financial architecture to address the climate crisis, lift more people out of poverty, and end food insecurity. You have spearheaded this work, including through the Bridgetown Initiative. And then, when Russian tanks rolled into Ukraine, you were the first regional bloc to stand with Ukraine, with Europe, and with international law. And you did it because of your unwavering values compass, but also because of a lawless world where might makes right is just more dangerous for everyone. You have constantly and consistently called for just peace, not only in Ukraine, but also in the Middle East, in Gaza, in Sudan, and in Haiti. And yes, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, slavery is a crime against humanity.
Yep, that was it. Nothing else to be said. So while institutions and governments have issued formal apologies or acknowledged their roles, tangible commitments to reparatory justice remain limited. However, there's something different about what's happening that may move things in a different direction this time. There is global solidarity with a unified stance from Africa, from the Caribbean, and African Americans. This strengthens the movement, right? Making it harder to ignore. There is institutional support with organizations like the African Union, CARICOM, and US Congress, pushing reparations into mainstream political discussions. But more...
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody hear anything about that?
No, sir, I haven't heard it.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep our eyes on it. All right. I'm opening it up for some questions, comments. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they came across they want to talk about? Dialogue. Okay. Please, right here. And we'll go into the class.
Tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off, tariffs on, tariffs off. I'm a stable genius. Ooh, Oh my goodness. What on God's green earth is this man doing? Can someone tell me? I know we're going to get into World War III by the end of this year. I would not be surprised. Because if I am irritated with this man as an American citizen, I can only imagine how other countries are feeling. Because I want y'all to understand the reason for these tariffs, mind you, is due to fentanyl. That's correct. Y'all probably forgot about that, huh? Y'all probably forgot all about that. The reason for these tariffs, ostensibly, was due to fentanyl. We got to protect the American people. People are dying out there, white people are dying from fentanyl. That's what's happening at absolute outrageous numbers. You have this commerce idiot go on television and say this foolishness, right? That, hey, this is about fentanyl, yada, yada, yada. Now, this reporter is like, okay, if this is about fentanyl, and this is why we have the tariffs on, Mexico, Canada, do you know that only 43 pounds of fentanyl was secured for a year from Canada? Do you know that? This is straight from, U.S. Borders and Customs. Are you aware of that?
You said that he wants to see fewer deaths. Is that the metric here for when these tariffs end? I mean, because according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents, only seized 43 pounds of fentanyl at the Canadian border last year.
This man hits us with the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence type logic. I kid you not.
Well, how funny is that, right? Like if I seize less, does that mean like the stuff they haven't seized hasn't gone through?
Huh? So she hits him back with what's the metric here, right? By what metric, what data point are we judging that the mission was a success? When do the tariffs end? Like, do we want to get the pounds to zero? Do we want to get deaths to zero? Like, what's the deal here?
So is that a metric? Do we want to see that go down to zero? How are you judging when they've done enough?
So if I don't know if anybody know anything about it, but those tariffs are supposed to have started today. But what happened was the stock market started crashing. So he came up with an excuse. But the reason why he backed off and put a hold on it was the stock market started responding to what he was doing. Okay. Anybody heard anything about that?
No, sir. Yes, sir. I did today. I watched a little video on that today.
Right. So as soon as he started this, which is already ludicrous, you can't see that the whole world is not with it. But this program now he's trying to put 100% tariffs on bricks. How crazy is that? Can't get nothing but a bad result from that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, that's crazy. But so all we gotta do is sit back and watch. They got nut bucket. He's gonna bring everything to pass. Okay. So we're gonna go into the lesson, which is I got a couple questions. Did anybody got any comments from last night about what we was talking about David's my wife or Nitzvah? Anybody got any comments on that? Did any of that make any sense to anybody?
Shalom, by her, I'm going to say deceiving, yes, David, that he was going to be with his concubine instead of his wife. That was for not David, I'm sorry, Jesse, David's father, so David can be born. I guess it was designed that way because of the Lord of hosts having David to come into this world. Is that something you see also?
Well, what I was going to say was it'd be a good thing to extend the study on this when it comes to the fact that what I was shining the light on about the prophetess. And the reason I say that was, if you notice in First Chronicles, when Zerubbabel and Joshua and them came out of Babylon, he was listing the people that came out with him, and it said senior men and women. So you understand that the Levites, singers are Levites. They part of the Levites. So it says singing men and women. So you got prophets, right, in Israel. So could it be that they have prophetess? And then we was looking at what a prophetess is a woman that can see things. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to search out because we had some examples. We had Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. We seen that Isaiah's wife was a prophetess, and like I said, that word means somebody, a woman that can see. Then we saw Hilda. They brought up Hilda in the First Chronicle, the Second Chronicles, and then Judith in the Apocrypha. We see that same thing, and you can't leave out Miriam, Moses' sister. So it's something going on with that. But they didn't twist it and tricked it off. So that'll be something to search out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I am, but there'll be something to search out. Okay.
Shalom. As I'm going to also search it out. Is there anything like would stay in the Torah, the first 5 books, or should we go further into the rest of the um, books that's there?
Well, yeah, I would go in it. I would go full sweep. I mean, you also got to look at like I said, I think it's some kind of sinister twist that these people have put into the scriptures, but because of you go back to well, I'm gonna do a class on it, but you go back to we was listening to the 200 angels that came down, right? And then it says that they had 200 women. They pursued them angels. They pursued the angels. They pursued after the angels, right? And then they received it. That's what this is. That's another way to look at it. Those angels gave them, they interacted with them, and those angels gave them secrets. So could it be that that's why they can see seers? Because all in the pagan world, you got these, they worship women, and like the oracles of Delphi and all that. They got these women there that's getting these, supposedly getting this information from, spiritual information. So could it be that they done slid that concept in there, which witches, because that's what the 200 women that dealt those fallen angels. Those angels gave them knowledge on how to do witchcraft, runes, and all that, which is witches, which made them superseded them above men because they getting supernatural knowledge from heaven. So could it be that they intertwine these Maserats, that whoever, when they change the scriptures, when they translate the scriptures to Greek and all that, they they brought that into to our story, because that's what when you go to Egypt, Isis, that's all she was. What they call them today, white witches, and the knowledge that they have, they receive from these angels, fallen angels, perverted knowledge. So yeah,
Sure.
something to think about.
Shalom. Yes, sir. Because I guess their children, the males, or their uh, became warlocks. Also, they got that from their parent, their mother. If she was a witch, she probably passed it down to them, the males to become warlocks. The ones that
Right,
were
that's the pagan,
maybe the
some pagan.
yes, sir. Yes, the two musicians that were there with Moses when he came to tell Pharaoh to let his people go. They were doing um, magic, I would say, turning their staff into a snake. They could have parents that taught them how to do it. But the Lord of hosts gave
Why that
Moses
comes
that.
directly from the fallen angels. that knowledge. If you look at that story, it tells you that the Pharaoh had a dream. That was the whole purpose of the dream, was the Lord wanted to expose that knowledge that was in Egypt. That's what made Egypt what it was that knowledge. Even the same with Babylon, same thing. So he brought Joseph into Egypt, he brought Mordecai into Babylon and raised him up, caused the king to have a dream. But none of the information that they had, the knowledge they had acquired from those fallen angels, nobody could figure out the dream. That was the whole purpose of it, was to humiliate them. And so then then he brought his man, Joseph, with the knowledge from the Most High, from the Creator, and Joseph explained the dream. And that killed all the rest of the sorcerers and all those people. Those are people that the Creator had got a problem with. So Joseph deciphered the dream. Same thing with Mordecai. The whole purpose of bringing those men there was to expose what was going on in those places. And it's the same situation today. They still dealing with that same knowledge. That's how they acquiring up the wealth and everything they have. Like I said, we look at things but don't rightly divide it. You got a woman in the tower and the dragon down in the bottom of the tower. The dragon got all the money. And you got all these artifacts from all over the world, from precious items that he done acquired all from all over the world. So he in the tower with all the wealth of the world, and he got the woman up at the top of the bell, top of the tower, the red-haired woman. Matter of fact, Edomite. But we look over there, and all these little cartoons, they're telling you what's actually going on. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? Okay. Like I said, I'll be reading out of Judges chapters 4, 5, 4. And so what my purpose of this is that, because this had came up about what had happened also in the book of Judges when the Levite had to cut his wife up into 12 pieces because she was raped and beaten and disfigured. So and that wasn't supposed to be happening amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. And I kind of broke it down a little bit, but I ran across this right here, so I figured I'd come back and clarify a little more with this information right here. So I'm in Judges, and the whole purpose of Book of Judges, or the reason why the Creator decided to use Judges was because of this problem right here. Let's look at it. Okay, let me get it. Yeah, so I'm starting in chapter 2, right? Of Judges, chapter 2, right? It says, "And the angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Beckham, and he said, I made you to go up out of Egypt." So remember, these Judges is right when the Israelites came out of Egypt. Joshua just died, right? And they in the land. They didn't acquire their land with the land of Canaan, land of milk and honey. They in their land and got their lots. So it says, "And the angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Beckham and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt. I have brought you into the land which I swore unto your fathers, and I said I will never break my covenant with you." So that's obvious who Israel is. God Israel is this angel of the Lord. It says 2, "And ye shall make no league." So right here, "Ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of the land, and ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this?" Right? "Wherefore I also said, I will not." Here you go. This is where the problem came in with the Levite, right here. "Wherefore I also said, I would not. See, the Lord of hosts was the one who drove out all the giants. When you understand the order that's in place. Wherefore, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your side, and their gods shall be as a snare unto you, which is their fathers, fallen angels. The giants in the land of Canaan worshiping their fathers. Like I was saying, they're going up in these mountains. That's where these angels are, on the mountains, in the high places, and they worshiping their fathers. Right? So that's why it says other gods, because they angels too. And the God that's over Israel is an angel. So it says, and it came to pass when the angel of the Lord spake these words unto the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. And they called the name of the place Bethel, and they sacrificed there unto the Lord. Right? And when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua. Here we go. All the days of Joshua, all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord that he did for Israel. And Joshua, the son of Nun, servant of the Lord, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in the borders of his inheritance in Timnah-Heres, in the mount of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gosh. And also all the generations were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Lord, or nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Balaam. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them up out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods of the gods of the people that were round about them, and hewed themselves and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. And they forsook the Lord, and they served Baal and Asherah. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not they could not any longer stand before the enemy. So same thing happened with us here. We were sold, right? 15. Wheresoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed, right? Here we go right here. So this is where the judge, administrative judges came in place right here. Verse 16, Judges chapter 2, verse 16. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hands of those that spoiled them, and yet they would not hearken to their judges, but they went a whoring after other gods, and bowed themselves unto them, and they turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked. Okay? In obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not so. And when the Lord raised them up judges, then the Lord was with the judge, and delivered them out of the hands of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented the Lord because of their groaning, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers in following other gods to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doing, nor their stubborn way. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he said, because, here you go right here, because that this people have transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I also henceforth, here you go, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them, of the nations, which Joshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein as their fathers did keep it or not. Therefore the Lord left these nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivering them into the hands of Joshua. So this is where, like I said, Abigail's husband came from. She told David, is he not a son of Belial? This those people he left. The Lord left there. He didn't drive them out. And then those are men of Belial that raped and mutilated the woman, the Levite wife. It was nations still there among the Israelites. You had Israelite cities, but you also had Canaanite cities within the borders of each one of those lots, Israelite lots. That's why the man told the Levite, don't lodge in the street all night. You ain't gonna make it until in the morning. So yeah, he came and told him to come into his house. But they came to the house anyway. They had already seen it. And obviously, the way they conducted themselves like vampires, because the nighttime came, then they came beating on the door. So anyway, this is chapter 3, verse 8. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of Cashim, king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Israel served Shashim 8 years. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Orthan, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he judged Israel, and he went out to war, and the Lord delivered the Cashim king of Mesopotamia into his hands, and his hand prevailed against Cashim, whatever his name is. And the land had rest 40 years, and Othel, the son of Kenaz, died, right? And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and the Amalekites, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the cities of the palm trees. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. But when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised them up as a deliverer. Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, a man left-handed, and by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. But Ehud made him a dagger, which had 2 edges of a cubic length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon the right thigh, and he brought the present unto Eglon, king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bore the present. But he himself turned again from the queries that were by Gilgal, and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silent. And as that stood by him, and all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came into him, and he was sitting in the summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from God unto thee. And he arose out of his seat, and Eglon put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. and the hat also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade so that it could not draw the dagger out of the belly, and the drip came out. And Eli went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. And when he was gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, surely he covered his feet in his summer chamber. And they tarried till they were ashamed. And behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor. Therefore they took a key and opened them, and behold, their Lord was fallen down dead on the earth. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed beyond all the quarries, and escaped into Sirah. And it came to pass, when he was come, that he blew a trumpet in the mountains of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them. And he said unto them, follow after me, for the Lord hath delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hands. And they went down after him, and they took the fords of the Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men, all lusty and all men of valor, and there escaped not a man. So Moab was subdued that day under the hands of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. Then say his name, Shagamar delivered Israel. And after him was Shagamar the son of Anak, which slew the Philistines 600 men with an ox gourd, and he also delivered Israel. So we see right here, this ain't no regular man, this is a giant, right? So I'm gonna read chapter 4, and then we'll get some comment. So it says, now this Deborah and Barak delivered Israel, and the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord when Eli was dead, and the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, captain of the host, was Sisera, which dwelt in Hazor for the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron. 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. And Deborah, the prophetess, here we go. Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Nicodemus, she judged Israel at that time. And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment. And she went and called Barak, the son of Abinah, out of the Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, have not the Lord God of Israel commanded, saying, go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with you 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun, and I will draw unto thee to the river Kishon. Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver them into thy hand. And Barak said unto her, if thou wilt go with me, then will I go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor, for the Lord shall sell Sisera into the hands of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and he went up with 10,000 men at his feet, and Deborah went up with him. Now, Heber, the Kenite, which of the children of Hodad, the father-in-law of Moses, had severed himself from the Kenites and pitched his tent unto the plains of Zanim, which is by Kadesh. And they showed Sisera that Barak, the son of Ammon, was gone up to Mount Tabor, and Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Hazarath of the Gentiles unto the river Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord hath delivered Sisera into thy hands. Is not the Lord gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him, and the Lord discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his hosts with the edge of a sword before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down from his chariot and fled away on feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots and after the host until Hazarath of the Gentiles, and all the hosts of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. Howbeit, Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jehu, the wife of Heber the Kenite, for there was peace between Jabin the king of Hazor and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jehu went out to meet Sisera and said unto him, Turn in to my Lord, turn in to me, fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle. And he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk, gave him drink, and covered him. Again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and I will be, when any man doeth come and inquire of thee, and say, Is there any man here? That thou shalt say no. Then Jehoiada's wife took a nail of the tent, and took a hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him, and smote the nail into his temples, and fastened it into the ground, for he was fast asleep and weary, so he died. And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jehu came out to meet him, and said unto him, Come, and I will show thee the man whom thou seekest. And when he came into his tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temple. So God subdued on that day Jabin, the king of Canaan, before the children of Israel, and the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against Jabin, the king of the Canaanites, until they had destroyed Jabin, the king of the Canaanites. So that was what I read with Judges chapter 2, 3, and 4. Anybody familiar with that story?
I'm not. Shalom. I
Okay.
apologize for being late. I don't I'm not familiar with the story, but I did have a question.
Okay.
My question was, and it's kind of related to this and it's kind of not. Why were the children of Israel so easily able to turn away from God just because somebody wasn't there to lead them? I mean, it's like as if from the time that they were in bondage in Israel, they see all of these miraculous things, they're being fed, and then the story about what they did when they was constantly testing Moses. I I mean, did they change the story, or were they just that easily able to just turn away from God so easily after seeing all those things?
Well, we see examples of it right now today. I mean, look at how can somebody come and introduce a dangerous drug to you into your community like crack, and then you see what it do to the first person, but yet it's still everybody else ended up taking it. So I don't see no difference. So there's something going on with that. You know, even like something like meth and heroin. How can you see have a friend or a brother and you see what it do to them? How can anybody else even deal with it? There's something going on with that.
Yeah.
And another thing to look at too is you got to look at Joseph. A lot of people don't see the story for what it is, but Joseph was made second in charge in Egypt. He was running Egypt. He went and got his brothers. So for a long time, during the life of Joseph and the life of his brothers, they ruled Egypt. So when did they get oppressed? After their brothers died. And the Pharaoh that knew Joseph and his brothers, they was gone. They were dead. So these people had no recollection. They had some semblance of what the Israelites had done, but after so long that they had died off. Nobody didn't know. And we just read right here the same thing. After Joshua died, Caleb died, none of the people knew about the heroics of the Lord of hosts and what he had done in Egypt and how he had delivered them out of Egypt and brought them to the land of Canaan. So when that flare went away, they started serving other gods.
It just seems like it was so easy for them to turn away. You would think that with the being there and having the priest right there with them, they have their siblings, their mothers, their fathers to be able to pass that history on. It just boggles my mind how they were so. I mean, it wasn't thousands and thousands of years between the death of Joshua or any of the prophets or the leaders. It's like as soon as they were covered, they referred to other gods. I just don't quite understand that. It always made me wonder since I've been in this class, why were they so gullible and easily fooled or easy to turn away, and they're right there seeing the firsthand power of the Lord and the Most High.
Right, that goes back to my case I keep saying over and over again. We know that in Isaiah 53, they twisted around and made it a single man and said that Isaiah 53 is pertaining to is a prophecy about JC coming. But it's like I was saying in Numbers chapter 18, he came and took the Levites and the priests from among the 12 tribes of Israel to him. And the priests and Levites' objective is to same role that Melchizedek had, was to keep the people steady, keep read. They read the law pretty much every day, especially on the Shabbat. That was the priests and Levites. They became corrupt and laid them away. We see what Aaron done at the Mount Sinai. He and the Levites, they made the calf and led the people astray. So when you understand who Isaiah 53, who the suffering servant is, it's the Levites. They the ones be suffered to the day. The people that came over here in the transatlantic slave trade was Judah, Benjamin, Levi. We can look at today, the 10 tribes still over there. Like I was saying, they can go to Deuteronomy 28 and apply Deuteronomy 28 to us. Well, shit, go apply it to the Africans. Look at that, flies all flying around them. Big old bellies and all that. That's Deuteronomy 28 fit them. But anyway, like I was saying, Judah, Benjamin, Levi was brought over here. They were the ones scattered, the head. And we see, that was my purpose of reading Ezra. When Ezra came back after the Babylonian captivity, it gives you all names of the Levites. And so when Ezra came into Jerusalem, all the people gathered unto him and the Levites as one man. Then Ezra, they built the pulpit. Ezra got on the pulpit. All the Levites was around him. And as Ezra was preaching on top of the pulpit, those Levites caused the people to understand what Ezra was talking about. So that's their role. So that's how easily they get detoured. When those Levites is corrupt, and they lead the people away from the Most High. Okay, we saw that with I can't think of Hannah when she had Samuel. Remember she was praying, and those two priests, Samuel, two sons were wicked as hell. Mm-hmm. So they the ones that's stirring the people off. That's why he's saying the shepherds, my shepherds then went astray.
So that's with that is. So with I'm sorry, Shalom. So with that said, then are we expecting that the Levites to find redemption and come back to help with the people?
That's what we're looking at right now. He got men that he's raising up. He's waking up. Like I was saying before, a lot of people don't. I mean, you hear me talking about Zerubbabel and what happened in Daniel 9:25. How the hell I even saw that? And then, and like I said, once you it expands. It's huge. That story is huge. It kills the whole everything that these people have lied about. When you really understand what's going on with that, it expands out. But you got to ask yourself, how in the hell did I see it? Where did they come from? That's how he worked. So he's got people in place. Like I was saying before, it's other places, other men that the Most High dealing with. And if you paying attention, you can see the Most High. This hand, it's all we being gathered. But the way that it's happening, and somebody that don't really understand what's going on, they can't see it. But we being gathered, we being brought together. Like I was just showing you about the reparations. There's a lot more to that. When the video I just played, the guy said that the Ghanaian president declared 2025 the year of reparative justice, right? Well, if you've been paying attention to this channel, they had a year of people of African descent. A whole year they declared people of African descent. I think that was 2010. People don't know. Then what we just got out of, the reason why everything's escalated to where it's at, they had a decade dedicated to people of African descent. It just ended. 2024. That's the reason why everything escalated. The last 10 years was dedicated to the people of African descent, proclaimed by the whole world, especially by the UN. And it just ended. And so now, this guy just from Ghana just declared 2025. That's the Most High, the Lord of hosts. It's everything being wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? But Africa didn't get to the point to where it's at on an accident. It was all these declarations and all these orders they came out with that brought it to where it's at. They have another agenda for it, but the Most High using them because they going in one direction, but he got another plan that he's already prophesied, and it's unfolding in front of our face. Any comments, questions?
Shalom. So as we go back to the Levites, now not all the Levites, when you say Levites, they're not all priests, correct?
No, they singers.
So
they got doormen.
Right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So this is where we say false prophets. So Some of those Levites probably became false prophets that led the rest of them astray.
Right, that's it, right. They started going for, they started taking bribes, and the money and the wealth that was. Oh, look at what happened when they left Egypt. Let me read it. In the book of Ezra, chapter 1. And like I was saying, when you understand the role of the Levites, the scriptures come alive even more. So you go to Ezra, right? Chapter 1. And like I said, this tied to Zerubbabel. So Jeremiah was prophesied, he a prophet, he a priest, right? He a Levite. Jeremiah prophesied that they was going to be in Babylon for 70 years. And then at the end of them 70 years, a commandment was going to come forth, which was Cyrus. So Cyrus brought forth the commandment. It says in Ezra chapter 1, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, yeah, that's one of his prophets, that he took to himself, right? Levites, might fulfill, stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation, which is a commandment, throughout all his kingdom, and put it in writing, saying, thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. So Lord and put it on this king mind. This king right here, no different than the Chinese president today and Russia. So anyway, he said the Lord told him, build him a house, rebuild his house in Jerusalem. So go to verse 5. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah. This who came over here, transatlantic slave trade. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah, Benjamin, the priests, see that? Self-serving. Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised to go up and build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. Now here go what I'm talking about. This is how they get corrupt. 6. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, with beasts, and with precious things, besides all that was willingly offered. So all this for the Lord, but they handling it. That's how they get corrupt. See that? 7. Also, see go. Also, Cyrus, king of Persia, brought forth the vessels out of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and he put them into the house of his gods. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer. Right. So that's just like the IMF today. Empty all their money out of the IMF, give it to the priests to go back and build a temple in Jerusalem. See, that's how they get corrupt. So anyway, 8. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar. We know that's Zerubbabel, prince of Judah. Here you go though. And this is the number of them. 30 charges of gold. This unimaginable money. 30 charges of gold, 1,000 charges of silver, 9 and 20 knives, 10 bases of gold, silver bases of gold, sought for 110, and other thousands, and vessels of gold and silver were 5,400. And these did Sheshbazzar bring up with them out of the captivity that were brought up from Babylon unto Jerusalem. So same thing was getting ready to happen, but this is how they get corrupt. They handling all this money that belongs to the Lord of hosts, and they get corrupt. And then they turn the people, and then the women too. We know how the Israelite men, we saw what Joseph did when he went to Egypt, how they flipped out on Joseph. Then even Joseph's wife described Jacob. And Jacob was 100 and some years old. She talked about how he looked. And so we know how the women look. So they got all this money flowing in front of them and all these women, the prettiest women in the world. They keep getting sideballed. And the lure of those giants that was there worshiping them. And it just continues to kept getting sideballed. The people, the Israelites had the ability to sway the people toward the Most High, but they swayed them away from it. And that's what we're looking at. So we see the same thing now. He's raising up Israelites, righteous men. Okay? That make any sense?
Yes, it makes plain sense.
Okay, yeah. And so yeah, that's where we at. Even with even with David, the house of David and his descendants, he says that he got a covenant with David that he gonna and this is what people don't not understanding is that the DNA, we can't see the DNA, but he got a promise with David that yeah, it's gonna be some wicked sons that's gonna be on the throne, but I'm always the righteous one up. After so long, it ain't gonna go but so long. It might be 3 wicked ones come, but then I'm DNA. He's playing with the DNA. I'm gonna raise up a righteous one. That's where you get Hezekiah and you get Josiah. He would always raise up a righteous one, and then that righteous king would restore everything and lead them back to the Lord of hosts.
Shalom. You know, me hearing that, it reminds me of the thought that I have about, they say we are the tribe of Judah that's here in America. And
Right.
what you just said, it's like they're always trying to, what did J. Hoover said, the fear of the people coming together or something like that,
Like the
that
fear of the black
somebody's
Messiah.
right. So they're always, to me, they always looking for who they think it might be,
Right.
and they kill them
Right.
before they can raise up. So
Right.
yeah, that all of that makes perfect sense to me, because
Right.
that's, you see that constantly playing out. They're not killing no old men. It's
Right.
always the young men of a certain
Right.
age.
Right. Like he said, the young lions. And that's where the Most High, that's where the Lord of hosts heart is at, with the young men. Look how he dealt with David when he was young. All those young men is where he's at. And that's what got me once I was maneuvered and brought into this. And you think about your youth, you how much more you could have done, how much more you could have did with the Lord when you was young. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they've done. Like I was saying, that's the purpose of these 18 years. Because by the time you got out of high school, then they just stole that part. You know what I'm saying? They just
Yeah,
stole. You been brainwashed. They just stole the part that the Lord of hosts looking for.
yeah,
Like I was saying, he looking for you. Everybody trying to figure out who Jesus is and who this and that. He already told us all through the scriptures what he liked. The
yeah.
lamb, the fat, the leg quarter, the fat. So if it's me, I'm gonna go get a whole bunch of fat and put it on the altar, wait until he comes, or go get me a bunch of young men with zeal. He gonna show up.
And then
Yeah, go ahead.
no, you was on a roll. Keep going.
No, they keep us. That's the whole. Everything they got going on is to keep us from getting to that,
Right.
and keep us from understanding that.
Right. And what I was going to say was, as you was talking, it made me think about how, even their books, their science talk about how our boys are turned off in kindergarten and in first grade. They label them as being ADD, or they can't sit still and all this kind of stuff. And then they kill the joy inside them at such a young age. Then they
Right,
just get filtered through the system in these special ed classes, or they just
right,
try to get them into sports and stuff like that, and then they just don't, they're not, uh they make them to be followers, and collectively, not individually, but as collectively. And they don't
Exactly.
want them to be leaders. They don't want them to think for themselves because it'll lead them to where you are. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. And then, and like I said, that's a system. When you talking about a beast system, they waiting on it. It's been here. That's the 18. That whole system that we living under now. It was designed over time to keep us where we at, dumb down, especially the males. But like I said, that's over with. Look at the boule. Look at the HBCU. They ain't nothing but breeding ground for the boule. So everything we dealing with is to keep us oppressed and keep us uh, thinking like a Hebrew. Okay. Anybody else got anything else they want to bring up? Well, we got to pick a scripture. Somebody got a scripture they want to.
Shalom. I just wanted to make a comment on when you first start reading out in Judges chapter 2,
Right.
verse 1 and 2, speaking of the angel of the Lord. You always speak about the angel of the Lord. And in verse 2, right, it says, and ye shall make no league, right, with the inhabitants
Right.
of this land. Ye shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have ye done this? So that goes right back to Exodus, where you always refer to chapter 23, right? Verse
Right.
21, where it says, beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. So that's just another precept that, we always speak of, when we talk about the angel of the Lord, which is Michael. That just really stuck out to me as you were reading that.
Right. You can't get it once it's shown to you and you see it. You can't get out of it. And so another verse to add to that one, which is huge,
Yes, sir.
where we always going to read Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Did somebody
All
read that?
right. Getting there. Yes, sir. 28 and 15.
Right.
Okay. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Curses for disobeying God. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay. So who they got to obey? Who voice?
The angel of the Lord, Michael.
Same one 23 and 20, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
And the
sir.
same one from Judges, chapter 2.
Yes,
You see
sir.
that? Right. So everybody always, you got this big old movement started with Deuteronomy 28. Well, that goes a lot of hope right there, Deuteronomy 28. He the one that brought the curses because you ain't obeying his voice. They're not obeying Yahweh's voice. He already established in Exodus 23 and 20 who it is that you listening to, who voice you did listening to. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, we got a verse.
Yes, sir. Um, Isaiah chapter 48, verse 7. They are created now and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them.
Okay. We got to go a couple of scriptures back on that one.
Okay, yes, sir. Um, I will go just start with verse 1, sir. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah. which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the God of Israel, but not in truth nor in righteousness. 2. For they call themselves of the holy city, and stay themselves upon the God of Israel. The Lord of hosts is his name. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth, and I showed them, and did them suddenly, and they came to pass. This is verse 4. Knew that thou art obstinate, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass. I have even from the beginning declared it to thee, before it came to pass. I showed it thee, lest thou shouldest say, mine idol had done them, and my graven image and my molten image had commanded them. Verse 6. Thou hast heard, see all this, and will not ye declare it? I have showed thee new things from this time, even hidden things, and thou didst not know them. Verse 7. They are created now, and not from the beginning, even before the day when thou heardest them not, lest thou shouldest say, behold, I knew them. Is that the idols?
Well, this verse 1. It's
One?
wicked.
Okay.
It's the wicked feed. Remember, it's two baskets of figs.
Yes, sir.
Read 1.
Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which
Okay.
swear by the name of the Lord.
Right. They swear by the Lord of hosts, but keep going.
Which swear by the name of the Lord, and make mention of the God of Israel, but not in truth nor in
See,
righteousness.
they wicked.
Mm.
That's the wicked feed. See it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the wicked feed.
Stubborn the weakness. Okay, okay, yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is that
Okay,
so?
thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else got anything else before we go? Questions, comments, or is anybody else pick up
Shalom.
and see mention or the House of David yet?
Shalom. I saw it. I have not watched it. Because just the first few minutes, just the portrayal. I have a hard time trying to hear the message they're still putting forth the effort to try to deceive us. Those people don't even look like they're from that region. They're
Right.
still trying to imply that they somebody that they not.
Right. Exactly.
And they
And this,
not. And they're not.
right. Somebody else had something?
Shalom. Um, well, the one that Sister Michelle just read, and Sasha asked about how they could um, turn away so fast. This is another example of them being disloyal and being um, moved away from the Lord of hosts.
Right. Yeah, they got a wicked feed amongst them. Bad. Yeah. You did something. So everybody good?
Yes, I'm good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I see we got our men's line tomorrow. You want to come into YouTube, but I see you on Saturday for our Shabbat classes. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
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 I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.